Hey, what's going on, everybody? Lawrence Owen here, Colts Law. Glad to see everybody here. Well, obviously, we just started. I'm excited about tomorrow's game. I am incredibly excited about tomorrow's game. I did a breakdown earlier this week about the Indianapolis Colts, Phillip Rivers, and how he went on his game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And quite frankly, I think a couple coaching mistakes, a couple personal mistakes, but that's okay because we got this. I think it was a learning experience. Let me get this here out. I think there's a couple people. I want to share this to social media, Twitter specifically. Here we go. There we are. Man, I'll tell you, this is pretty exciting, actually. Really, really exciting. I know normally not all the time do I come out here on Saturdays. I used to do Saturdays at 5 and then Bring the Juice started doing 5, so I got to change it up. So I'm bringing about 4:30. I was going to go at 4, but didn't have enough people with me. I was thinking I had Irv Smith Sr. willing to join me, but he's a little bit crunched on time. He was going to join me yesterday, but instead I ended up getting someone else to fill in for me, which I'm really glad that Adam Armbrecht actually joined and helped me break down the Vikings game. Irv did say he'd be more than happy to join my show at some point, so that'd be awesome at some point. Maybe I could get him to do a post-game show right afterwards, no matter whether the Colts lose or win. But thanks, guys, for joining me here. I am live on Sportscaster and on YouTube, so don't forget, please subscribe, follow, like the stream, and share that to your social media so we can get this out to other people, okay? I don't think my exposure is near where I would like to see it quite yet. So it'd be great if I could get it to where I'd like to have it. And the only people that can help me do that is you guys. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is the tight ends. We know Jack Doyle will not be playing this game. We know we signed another guy off another practice squad. But from what I'm understanding, he will not technically be on the 48. Since he was just signed off somebody else's practice squad. I don't think he joins the 55, because if I remember right, it's no longer a 53, it's a 55. I think he joins the 55-man roster, but since they're suiting up, they can only suit up 48 for a game. I don't think the new tight end will be there, especially since, he has no practice with Phillip Rivers, the offensive line, nothing like that, the running backs. So I don't expect to see him at all this week. I think this is more along the lines of they're not expecting Trey Burton or Jack Doyle this week or even next week. So, having 3 tight ends is important. So we're going to be going in with Mo Alley Cox and Noah. And quite frankly, I'm really excited about Mo Alley Cox, right? We all know he's brought in as a blocker. He's going to be the number 1 tight end. He's going to be in probably on at least 60% of the plays. Not just as a leading blocker, but, fully expect him to get out on some routes. And we all know what kind of person he is catching the football. He's done amazing one-handed catches before. Last week, he got a couple balls himself, honestly, Zach Hicks said it best. He's like a tank once he has the football, really tough to bring down. He's able to run people over like nobody's business. I think he could have a nice, solid outing in this game. Okay, being the number 1 tight end on the roster in this game against Minnesota. Now, my question is, do they put a linebacker or a safety on him, right? He's too big to put a safety on. The guy's like 6'5" or something, 6'6". I'm not sure. I know he's tall and big, like 240 or something. He's too big to put a safety on. You'd have to put a linebacker, but I don't know. He still might be too big for a linebacker height-wise. he'd still have a size advantage over linebackers. That's impressive. So I'm expecting to see a lot from him. And there's not a lot of tape on Mo Alley-Cox, right? They'd have to go back some to look at that. So I'm expecting Mo to have a big game. He'll probably have a few targets, and obviously he'll be blocking a lot with Nyheim Hines, Jordan Wilkins, and of course Jonathan Taylor carrying the rock. I apologize if you hear the baby crying in the background. My granddaughter is here, and my daughter and her wife are down there, and they're trying to take care of the child, but it's a newborn. It's only a couple weeks old, so, things like that happen. I'm glad to have them in my home visiting. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this game? What do you guys think? Jerry's Kid here on Sportscaster. Thanks for joining. Don't forget, man, join in the chat. If you're here and you have a profile, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Sportscaster, you can join in the chat. Make a profile. If you're on Sportscaster right now watching live and you don't have a profile, that means you can't join the chat. Please make a profile. It takes you 10, 15 seconds. And then you can come back in here and join in the chat. Tell me what you think about this upcoming game. If you're on YouTube, same thing. Tell me what you're expecting, your expectations and your hopes coming into this game against the Vikings tomorrow. I'm excited, personally. I am really, really excited. From what I could see, I think the Colts offense will move just fine. They have a very young secondary. And I think, yes, most of our receivers are young. T.Y. Hilton is that veteran. We also have Zach Pascal, who's a veteran wide receiver. But don't knock Paris Campbell out. As the third receiver on this team, if Michael Pittman can play, which I'm expecting, it's just a toe injury. I mean, it might be a turf toe. I don't know. But it's a toe injury for Michael Pittman. If he plays, then expect Paris to play a lot of slot. And if he don't play, oh, well, Zach Pascal will probably be on the outside, right? So I'm expecting to see Paris Campbell getting the nickel corner. And I don't know too many third-string corners, especially when they're young, bunch of rookies, going to be able to cover Paris Campbell, especially after what we saw from the connections between him and Rivers last week. They were on fire. Right? I showed you on my film room what Paris and Phillip Rivers has together. It's pretty impressive. I'm very hyped for it. Very, very hyped. T.Y. should be able to eat up some rookies. Now, he didn't eat up C.J. Henderson. Henderson was a solid rookie corner last week. I mean, and it was well schemed. Defensively, the Jaguars schemed against T.Y. Hilton a lot. They had a lot of double coverage on T.Y. high and low. That's why Paris Campbell was open a lot. That's why the running backs were open a lot. Do we expect to see a lot of passes to the running backs, say Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, especially on swing routes or maybe even running back screens? Boy, I hope so, because last week, all that worked so well, okay? And we got a ton of speed. And I think with that kind of speed, we could really do some damage. I mean, yes, the Vikings got a great linebacking core, but I don't know about their defensive line. Yes, they have Yannick Ngakoue. But outside of that, I'm not all that impressed with the Vikings defensive line right now. I'm more worried about their linebacking core with Kendricks and Barr and them. That's who I'm worried about. I think I'm hoping that Jonathan Taylor having a full week of practice with the offensive line will make his running game even better, right? Because when you have so the entire training camp, the offensive line has basically been working with Marlon Mack. And Marlon Mack, they know how he likes his blocks, where he wants the blocks, when they happen. And then, of course, Marlon Mack knows where and when those blocks are going to happen as well, because they work well with each other. They work with each other, open communication when it comes to blocking and how he runs the football. I'm hoping this week there was quite a bit of that between Jonathan Taylor and the offensive line. That would be awesome. That way we can see the holes for Jonathan, because Jonathan Taylor doesn't have the patience that Marlon Mack has. Marlon Mack loves patience. He'll wait for that opening to happen, and if it doesn't happen, he'll be able to see one somewhere else and then move laterally rather quickly in order to hit that hole. Jonathan Taylor's more of a, he's going for where that hole is supposed to be, and he doesn't come off of that very often. So that's something that I think that the offensive line is really going to have to get used to with Jonathan Taylor. But with that, I think Jonathan is one of those scary linebackers where if the defensive line and offensive line are blocked out, and there's only one guy for him to beat on that offensive line, one broken tackle, like a linebacker or even a safety that comes up, he's one of those guys that can just bust that tackle and with his speed outrun the entire secondary. Legitimately, you could see a 50-plus yard run tonight, or, well, tomorrow. And that'd be awesome. I think that would be an absolute fantastic thing to see. Cubs fan in hiding, thanks for joining on Sportscaster. Appreciate you. I think everyone would love to see that, right? I'd like to see Jonathan Taylor break 100 yards against this Vikings defense. That'd be awesome. But does the Colts focus more on the run or the pass against this team? I mean, I think that the Vikings' run defense is actually better. Insert random. What's up, my guy? I'm doing well. What do you think? Should the Colts run or pass more in this game against the Vikings? Because personally, I think that they're kind of ripe for the passing game. I think the Vikings, their secondary doesn't look nearly as good as what their front seven does. And I think the Colts should open up with the passing game, just kind of throwing right over the front seven to little 10, 15-yard routes to kind of soften that front seven up a little bit. That way, more into the second half, you might be able to run the ball even better because they're too scared of seeing, that little pop over the top from Rivers to like Campbell or Hilton. That's what I think the Colts should do. Normally, I don't like doing that. Normally, I'd rather run the ball first so to open up the pass. But with how young this Viking secondary is, this is legitimately, I think, a time where the Colts could legitimately throw the ball to open up the pass. Mingo says 20 runs, 30 passes. I'd like that. But I could see early on being a lot more passes rather than runs. And then in the second half, more runs than passes. Because, like I said, that Vikings linebacking core is really good. Really good. Kendricks might be one of the best linebackers in football. He probably top 5, right? He's solid. And Anthony Barr is solid too. So I think we definitely need to open it up. I'm sure Frank Reich, I'm sure he's figured that out. He's probably got a game plan, something similar. I know that he went away from the running game against Jacksonville after Marlon Mack went down, and he understands that. But at the same time, you have to attack a defense where they're weak. I understand you want to run the football, and you can run the football, but create opportunities where your runs will be more successful. And by doing that is nice little soft passes. Or, I mean, if it happens and T.Y. or Paris ends up breaking one deep, wide open, hell yeah, throw it downfield, Rivers. Just make sure that that, there's no double coverage or single high over the top or something like that. If you're going to throw it, make sure it's a smart throw. Don't make it a stupid throw. Okay? Just saying, because Rivers had one stupid throw last week. The other 2 throws I don't put on him. One I put both of them. One I put on C.J. Henderson. It was just a beautiful play. It was probably a play designed specifically for that play that the Colts were playing, and Rivers and Reich didn't see that coming when he broke off the route and came back and off the route of Michael Pittman and came back and cut in front of the pass in front of T.Y. Hilton and intercepted it. That's just a great play defensively, and I can't lay that on Rivers or Reich. The interception earlier that stuck was all on Rivers. That was a play he should have seen coming. That's a play that he should have seen coming when as soon as that safety was breaking hard on the ball, he should have just changed directions, looked for somewhere else. He could have threw it to the running back who was wide open, possibly picked up the first down. Now on the interception that was called back because of a holding call, off the ball holding call, that was a bad play call by Frank Reich. That put Phillip Rivers in a no-win situation. There was nothing he could do. It was 4th down and 3. You knew Jacksonville was going to send heat that game. So Rivers was going to have to get rid of that ball really, really quick. You knew it. And the play was not designed to get rid of that ball really, really quick. It was a medium weight design play. And it was not a good call, I think, on Reich's part. Now that's 4th down. So, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered, honestly, if he threw the interception or did not throw the interception in that situation. It was going to be either a turnover on downs or an interception, whether he threw it or not, right? So he might as well have thrown it. And if that pass interference or holding call, whatever, didn't happen, oh well, I get that. So, but that pass earlier where the safety broke off and broke up, yeah, he should have threw that somewhere else. That was just a bad play. So, Brian, you say we don't have a running game of significance. See, the thing is, before Marlon Mack went down, our running game was going great last week. Great. Marlon was averaging 6.5 yards a carry, and then they went away from it. And those first 3 drives, I think the Colts ran the ball 6 times. 6 or 7 times. Naheem ran it well. Marlon Mack ran it well. And they were mixing it up with the throw. Then they started throwing it more. And it's not like they were behind when they started throwing it more. They just quit running it nearly as much. And like I said earlier in the stream, the offensive line is built to block for Marlon Mack, or was. You know, they had that connection with Marlon Mack. I'm hoping this past week gives the offensive line and Jonathan Taylor a little time to sync up so that they know how Jonathan Taylor likes his blocks, when, where, and how. And Jonathan Taylor will understand where, when, and how these blocks are going to form, and he'll know when to wait, when to be patient, and when to just hit that hole hard. I think it had a lot to do with Jonathan Taylor just wasn't ready. Avery Watkins don't understand why they went away from the run. I honestly don't think that the offensive line was ready to have Jonathan Taylor as the featured back. Like I said, they were practiced and learned with Marlon, and they hadn't had any time to really practice and learn with Jonathan Taylor. And I'm hoping this week should adjust that. And Taylor should have a much better time than just averaging like less than 3 yards a carry like he did last week on 9 carries. I believe it was like 9 carries. But the passing game was outstanding. The passing game, I mean, Rivers was almost 80% completions, had great he had so many passes that was 10 to 20 yards downfield. It was amazing. I loved it. I loved seeing Rivers throw the football. He is so accurate. He knows how to throw a receiver open. He knows how to lead a receiver open so that he could catch and run and still be, in mid-stride when he catches so that he can make plays after the catch. Him and Paris is going to be so fun to watch this season. Him and Paris Campbell is going to be so darn fun to watch this season. Agreed, Avery. I don't particularly care for the naysaying after game 1 either. NFL-wide, you don't get, after the offseason that's happened in the NFL, you're not going to see any team's real team, except for those that have already. You're going to see Kansas City's real team offensively. You're going to see Baltimore's real team offensively because they're basically the exact same teams: offensive line, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks. Those are all the same. So they don't have any adjustments. They just need refresher work to knock off some rust. Teams that have new quarterbacks, new offensive linemen, and a bunch of new wide receivers, they are going to have issues because they need more time to sink. And I'm not even going to get into it defensively. Defensively, there has been no live tackling games until last week. So you're not going to see any team's real defense until 2 or 3 weeks into the season because they've got to get back into the mode of pounding, right? Making solid tackles, being efficient, and running hard and everything. I mean, that's the thing about defense. It takes a few games to get into the mindset of actually full contact football for 3 straight hours. So you may not see the Colts' true starting defense this week either. It should be better than last week's. I'm hoping Eberflus has a much better time calling plays, and he's kind of adjusted things, hopefully, over the past week. Because I think the Colts play zone, I understand that. But I think when you play zone, you still got to kind of follow the guy in your zone. You just don't sit in the middle of your zone staring at the quarterback. You got to have peripheral vision. And if a receiver comes through your zone, you got to kind of lean towards that receiver, right? That way, if the quarterback throws that way, you're already kind of motioned in that direction, and you can break on the ball. We didn't see that week 1. We saw guys sitting in their freaking zone, standing there staring at the quarterback and not adjusting to people moving through their zone. We got to see something like that. I still think the Colts will do really good. I didn't have them losing week 1. I had them winning week 1. I still think they have a chance to go 12-4. I'm going to realistically say 10-6. I still think they have a chance to go 12-4, but it's all about Eberflus right now. Eberflus, we've already seen. He needs to send blitzes once in a while. I get he don't like sending the blitz. He wants to get pressure with the front 4. But you need to mix in blitzes occasionally, whether it's from the safety position, whether it's from the linebacker position, whether it's from a cornerback position. Every once in a while, you got to make a quarterback feel uncomfortable, right? Every once in a while, you got to make that quarterback feel uncomfortable, and especially Kirk Cousins. He's seasoned enough. You think Gardner Minshew, a sophomore quarterback who only missed 1 damn pass the entire game last week, chewed up this zone defense? You let a seasoned quarterback like Kirk Cousins get a hold of us. We're going to have to mix up a lot more man. We're going to have to send some blitzes. Don't overload blitz, obviously. But when you're playing, when you are blitzing, I want to see man press. When we're in the red zone, I want to see man press with a bunch of guys coming up, either to stop the run or go after the quarterback. Eberflus, I'm fine with him loving the zone defense. I get the bend but don't break thing. But at some point, you got to stiffen your back up. You get in that red zone, you got to stiffen up and make sure that that this is the point where you don't break. And the problem was last week, he was just falling over. Here, just take whatever you want. There was one bad play from Xavier Rhodes where he bet on a play action run. And when he bet on that play action run, Keelan Cole ran a crossing route, and there was no way Xavier had any chance of catching him after that. Xavier can't bite on that unless he knows for a fact the running back has the football already. He was thinking it was run all day, especially since there was no one on that side. I'm surprised it wasn't a run. honestly, because there was no one on that side of the field to stop him except Xavier, who was 15 yards downfield. If they would have ran the football, they would have picked up huge chunk of yards. And I think that's what Xavier was seeing. And he was thinking, oh, crap, this is most likely a run because I'm going to be the closest guy to stop it, and I'm 15 yards away from him. But even so, you can't let your guy cross the field that way and get completely out of your reach. Excuse me. Let me get something to drink. My throat is killing me. Eberflus has to really adjust himself. I want to thank Mary LP Fan and Desert Rover for joining over on Sportscaster as well. If you're watching on Sportscaster, please hit that like button. Follow me and share this stream. All of you over here on YouTube, guys, love you here. Love the conversation. Love the fact that you guys are joining in the chat. Can you help share the stream on your social media? I'd appreciate that a lot. I thought the speed issue with Xavier was supposed to be where they switched out at quarterback. See, Xavier's quick enough. Xavier's got speed. He just let his guy go by him because he was too worried about the run. That's the only problem with Xavier. I think Xavier's better man cover than he is in zone anyhow. I would much rather see Xavier play man coverage because that's what he was used to doing in Minnesota. And the only reason he was hurting so bad was because he got hurt. When he was healthy, last year, the year before, when he was healthy, he was a lockdown corner. I mean, a true number one lockdown corner and one of the best, right? Then he got hurt, and he got hurt through the rest of the season, the last 2 years, like after week 3 last season and after week 5 the season before, he got hurt. And it was the kind of injuries that affect your speed and your ability to make cuts. And that, when you're a cornerback, you can't have. You can't have ankle injuries. You can't have core. You can't have knee problems, hamstrings, because that affects how you cover somebody man to man. Right now, Xavier Rhodes is healthy. Let the man play man coverage. Rock Ya-Sin, again, yes, Avery, you're right. Let Rock play man. He's all about doing that. He's all about that man press coverage, man. And he's good at it. He's a physical cornerback. He's been in Xavier Rhodes' hip pocket all training camp, learning how to play man cover better. And we know that Kenny Moore's great at man coverage. Let him play man coverage too. Heck, I think the Colts should really, I get that he loves the zone. And yes, play the zone once in a while. It's an easier scheme to play. But send some more blitzes. And when you send the blitzes, play man press. Because if you're playing man press, that means the quarterback will need a little bit longer to throw that football because you're knocking receivers off their route. And that's going to give your blitzers an extra second to get to the quarterback. And I'm sorry, Kirk Cousins is not that mobile. He's not going to escape the pocket and run around and throw a football like Deshaun Watson. This is a quarterback that you legitimately could play a lot more man coverage against and send blitzes on. He is built for the one-on-one. And he's incredibly physical when it comes to playing the defensively. Lack of pressure did not help. Man, she was too comfortable. I agree. And it's because Eberflus did not send blitzes. And he doesn't do that every year. Now, if you go look at his history, the last 3 years, last year, he didn't start sending blitzes until about week 3. When he started to realize, week 3, week 4, when he started to realize that his front four wasn't getting the pressure that he wanted. Year before, same thing. Exact same thing. This year, first week, hardly blitzed at all. He's following the same kind of concept. We can't do that. Alan James, welcome to the stream, man. Appreciate you being here. You can't just send 4 every time. Take Green Bay was sending pressure against Cousins, and it was working. Look what Pittsburgh does. Last week, Pittsburgh literally blitzed on 95% of their defensive downs. 95%. And look how they did. They were all over. Oh my goodness. It was a wow game. Okay. If you got speed on the defense, use it. Use it and blitz. Yes, we do have veterans out there. We got guys that know each other very, very well. Walker and Leonard, they understand each other great. Our defensive line, I think Houston, the outside blitzers, the one great thing that our defensive ends did well last week. I will give them that. We didn't get the inside push as much as I'd like to have seen. Houston got a sack, and Autry got 2 sacks. So we got 3 sacks off of our defensive ends last week. I would like to see a little more push up the middle between Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner. Buckner did get a nice tackle for loss on a run. It was like a 2-yard tackle for loss. But he's got to step it up. I get that he's getting a lot of double teams, but he's got to step it up somewhere. Teray won't be around for a while. And Lewis. Isn't Lewis healthy? From what I understood, he was having a great training camp, and I don't remember Lewis having any kind of problems. I understand that he had a heck of a training camp, but I don't remember anything about anything said that Lewis was hurt or anything. I agree. One fumble, one forced fumble, one interception would be great. Last week, all offseason, all you heard from Matt Eberflus was, we're wanting to get more turnovers. More interceptions. Put ourselves in a better position to get interceptions. More forced fumbles. Get ourselves in a position to rip the ball out. We didn't get one single turnover last week. We gave the ball away twice. You can't lose the turnover battle by 2 and expect to win. And the defense should have came up with something turnover-wise, but there was nothing. It's hard to get turnovers when the quarterback has all day to throw the football and wide receivers are all they got to work against is his own defense. All they got to do is find an open spot in the zone, and it's just basically pitch and catch between the quarterback and the receivers. We can't allow that. We cannot allow something like that to happen again this week. Not against Kirk Cousins. Not against that wide receiving core. Not against Dalvin Cook. This is Dalvin Cook. Okay? He's a really good running back who can catch the football out of the backfield. We can't allow that. I'm almost thinking that we should have either Bobby Okereke or Kari Willis, one or the other, spying Cook at all times. Teray's not back yet. Teray is still on the pup. He's gone for at least the first 6 weeks. Guys, don't forget, hit that like button, hit the share it to your social media. Help me out here. I've got 10 people watching. Love everybody. Leonard is a good spy, but I'd rather have Leonard spying a quarterback. Now, granted, I'd also like to see him he's so good in a zone defense. Leonard is good as a pass defender too. He stepped it up last year. I'd rather have Leonard pass defense and have Okereke be the spy. Now, Walker can spy too, But I'd rather have Walker ready to press against the run or follow a tight end or something in coverage if he needs to. Okariki's got the speed and the athleticism as well to cover Dalvin Cook. Oh yeah, Autry was nice. Autry having a couple sacks that looked good, and I expected it because he's used to facing bigger guys in the middle, right? Autry was always running that 3-tech in that nose tackle position his first 2 seasons here. Now he's on the defensive end working on a right tackle. He should do a lot better on that. Thanks, random name. Appreciate you. Thanks for sharing. My thoughts on the tight end position this week. Like I said, the new guy that they just signed off of a practice squad onto the 55-man roster. Don't expect him. He's not going to play. He's had no time to work with the offense. You're going to see Noah, and you're going to see Mo Alley-Cox. And I'm expecting a lot out of Mo Alley-Cox. I was saying this earlier in the stream. I'm expecting a lot out of Mo Alley-Cox. I'm expecting at least 4 or 5 catches for the guy, and he'll be in almost, I'd say 75% of the offensive snaps just because he's a stud at blocking too, right? So, yeah, it sucks that Doyle's got out. We don't know how long. The only reason we signed that one dude, the other undrafted free agent, was because we don't know how long Doyle's going to be out. So we needed an extra tight end. We know we got at least 2 more weeks before Trey Burton comes back because he's on IR, and that's 3 weeks now. So we're a little thin. I wish we could have signed Hale Hinchkes because at least the Colts know him, and everybody said that he was so much like Jack Doyle. Why couldn't we have gotten him? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Doris Fountain it depends. Brayton Nichols says that he hopes that Patman, not Fountain, gets snaps if Pittman doesn't play. Now, I'm going to tell you what. If Pittman doesn't play, Pascal's taking his snaps, okay? Zach Pascal will take Michael Pittman Jr. snaps. There's no question about it. Patman and Fountain might get a couple snaps in there if they go 4 wide or something. But it's going to be T.Y. Hilton on one side. The slot receiver is going to be Campbell. And the outside guy is either going to be Fountain, and if he can't play, it'll be Pascal. No questions about that at all. Ian Thomas from Carolina. Huh. Okay. Tight end. I really don't know Ian very much. He's from Baltimore. Do you know that? Played college at Indiana. Oh, I see why you like him, because he played college at Indiana. I still would rather have Hitchkes. I don't know who I don't know much about him, but I like Fountain. I think Fountain, the fact that he's on the team makes a huge difference. That injury he suffered last training camp was devastating, especially after having such a great training camp. Yeah, that's why I said IU, Indiana. But I don't know. I'm hoping to see more 2 running back formations also in this game. I want to see situations where you got Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor or Jordan Wilkins on the field at the same time. Because I'm telling you, I'm watching, and that makes decisions for the defense very, very tough. Very, very tough. Because if Nyheim Hines goes out one way and the other running back goes out the other, which way do you go? Right? And Rivers can look at the linebackers of the defense and see which way they lean. And whichever way they lean, he could throw the other direction to the running back. That's how that screenplay to Jonathan Taylor that went like 30-some yards, that's exactly what happened. Hines took off, linebackers went his direction, and he dumped it off. Now, it was designed to go to either running back, and that's where the play was to go. If the linebackers were going to stay where they were at, he was going to throw to Hines because he would have been wide open with lots of running space. But because the linebackers leaned that way, he threw it to Taylor, and Taylor had those two offensive linemen break out to lead that screen. Oh, yeah. We have to look beyond T.Y. I love it, but the wide receiver, yes, they do. I'm not going to look beyond T.Y. T.Y. is still a solid wide receiver, but I want to see a lot of receptions from other guys as well. I agree. Utilize T.Y. T.Y. is a beast still. When he's healthy, he's one of the toughest receivers to cover. Last week, he had issues because he had a really good rookie on him, plus he had help over the top. And T.Y. still came up with like 4 catches. But I think Campbell is going to blow up this game. And last week, Rivers did spread it around. It was like 9 people caught balls from Rivers last week. 9? Wow. It was a lot of people, man. A lot of people. Hey, guys, don't forget, hit the like button. Share the stream. If you're not subscribed, man, subscribe. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Sorry, I'm thirsty, and I know I'm on a green screen. You've seen right through my pop, but oh well. I'm more worried about the defense than I am the offense. The offense last week had like 400 and damn near 450 yards offense, right? I'm not worried about the offense. I thought the offense moved the ball really, really well last week. I'm worried about our defense. Yes, Jacksonville, I said before last week, don't sleep on Jacksonville's passing attack. It is really good. What happens? Jacksonville has a great day throwing the freaking football and everybody loses their shit. But I warned you about it. I said, Shark is a damn good receiver. Chenault is going to be dangerous over the middle, right? Keelan Cole's good. Freaking, what's his name? That other guy that they have, he's good. I just didn't expect the running game to be as good as it was. That undrafted free agent running back, man, he was solid. He did a leaping jump over one of the blockers. He made a heck of a play. Did good catching the football, the backfield. He didn't like to go down. He's a solid running back. And I understand now why they let Fournette go with this kid. Everybody thought that Doug Marrone was crazy letting Fournette go, saying, well, we want to go a different direction with this undrafted free agent rookie. And everybody laughed at him. They ain't laughing at him now. Exactly. You ain't going to see that very often for Campbell. I mean, I don't care if it is a safety on Campbell. They're going to have to do something. Teams are going to have, because you can't put a safety or a linebacker on a guy who's got 4.3 speed. I don't care if you're freaking Darius Leonard. You don't put Darius Leonard on a receiver that has 4.3 speed. If Minnesota does that, Campbell's going to have 12 catches for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. I don't expect that to happen. I expect Minnesota to use a safety and probably a nickel corner the majority of the time on Campbell. But I'll tell you what, if you get in a situation where you could get Campbell on the field, this is weird because you could legitimately do this. Have Nyheim Hines as the featured back. Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor, right? And then you take Nyheim Hines and you split him out wide. Because if you have Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, you're going to have your base defense on the field. And if you split Nyheim Hines out, you're going to have a linebacker either on Campbell or on Hines. Either way, that is a win every stinking time. He's going to get used to his receivers, game one, and some timing, whatever. Jags. Yeah, the Jags wide receiving core is just solid. They're better this year than what they were last year. Killing us on. Yeah, it's weird that the Colts haven't given up they've given up one single 100-yard rusher in the past 2 regular seasons. Only one, and that was Derrick Henry late last season. That's the only time anyone's ran for over 100 yards against the Colts during the regular season the past 2 years. But that Robinson kid from Jacksonville was just eating us alive. He did not want to go down. And again, I could probably blame a little bit of that of no real live tackling because of no preseason and a shortened offseason. All right, I could throw that down a little bit on that. That's something that we could just kind of lay our hat on and say, okay, the Colts defense is not up to par yet. It's going to take them a couple weeks to get up to that where we're used to seeing them when it comes to tackling and against the run. He was good. He did not want to go down, did he? Did not want to go down. Yeah, that's going to be a game. I'm going to be keeping a really close eye on the Jags-Titans game. Very, very, very close. Because Titans is a solid team. I'm kind of freaked out. The NFC East right now is being led by the Washington football team. What? I'm sorry. I cover the entire NFL, and I'm looking down at the Washington football team, who everybody thought was going to have the worst season in the NFC, and they're winning their division. Go Colts. Yes. I get you, Benedict. I get you. Right, Brian? Oh, darn. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, Nick. I feel the same way. I hope the Jags win at least 6 games this season just to say, it don't look so bad. But then again, like I said, week 1, you could take week 1 and just throw it out. And that's with just about any team with a new quarterback or new head coaches, stuff like that, new playbooks. You could do that. Tevin, what's up? Alan James, Eberflus is a good DC. He is a good DC. He does not adjust in game. He adjusts from game to game, and that's my only issue I have. Eberflus usually does a really good job preparing for a game, but it's not very often that you'll see him start dialing up different stuff right in the middle of a game to adjust what's happening. Because if that was the case, he would adjust it at halftime against Jacksonville. Or especially in the fourth quarter, he would have adjusted, set more blitzes, stuff like that, try to stop that passing game. But he wasn't doing it. I'm hoping that he shows a complete flip of script tomorrow. I'm hoping. Not because I want him to do a flip of script the whole season, but to make other teams continually guess what Eberflus is going to do against them, what kind of scheming he's going to do. You don't want to be vanilla, and he was incredibly vanilla against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I get why he was, because like I said, it was week 1. They have no live contact. They haven't played anyone other than their own offense all season, and he just wanted his team to play good strategic football. But now it's week 2. Now you got to throw a few wrinkles in. Does a couple shots before the game to loosen up. No. Well, in a way. Yes, I think the players, like I said earlier, I think the players could play their zone a little more man tight when an offensive player moves through your zone. You should move with him a little bit. That way you're already going that general direction and just not sitting in the middle of your zone, staring at the quarterback, waiting for a play to happen, and then run to the player after it's already caught. You can't do that in a zone defense. You kind of got to move around in your zone, keep an eye on the quarterback, but have that peripheral vision to know who's in your zone and where they're going. Yeah, but I'm assuming that at least one of the two guys are going to play. I mean, Pittman's got as a matter of fact, here, let me help you out here. Let me help you out. I could do this. Boom. All right. So we got Doyle with the knee. Hooker was just sick. Pascal's got an ankle. Pittman's got a toe. All right. Hilton was just resting. Costanzo was just resting. Autry was just resting. Justin Houston's got a calf. He's questionable. Blackman, doubt he plays because he's only been limited practice. He'll probably only be limited practice for a couple more weeks. He probably won't play next week either. Pascal may play. He was full practice yesterday, so that's good news. He'll probably play if he was full practice. We had Pittman with a limited practice on Thursday and did not practice Friday. There is a good possibility, but granted, it's a toe. Is it a broken toe? Is it a turf toe? I don't know what kind of toe injury this is. Someone tell me. I didn't realize until earlier when I was looking at that. Tevin says, I hope Jonathan Taylor be as good as he looked with his limited his limited touches. He didn't look that good running the football. He looked great catching it out of the backfield. I thought he did a really good job. I think him and the offensive line just need to sync up and understand how each other works real well. And then I think he'll break one out for a big one. Yes, the Colts can play man-to-man. Eberflus does play man-to-man occasionally. Okay, he does play man-to-man. Kansas City game, I think he played 60% man-to-man coverage. And we played him very, very well. Ingrown toenail. Taylor much better in the screen game than running game between attack. I don't think it's weird because Brayton, you think about this. He caught the football. He had blockers in front of him. All right, which means he was able to utilize his best attribute, which is his speed, right? His 4.4 speed. He was able to utilize that and go. And that speed's what got him all that yardage. When it comes to the offensive line, they have not been practicing to block for him all training camp. They've been practicing to block for Marlon Mack. Now Marlon Mack's gone. They've had a week to work with Jonathan Taylor and understand how he likes his blocks, and he'll be able to see how the blocks are forming in front of him. I think Jonathan Taylor has a much better game this season, or this week, running the football. He'll average more than 3 yards a carry. For God's sake, I hope so. Nyheim Hines, you see, the offensive line is used to setting up zone blocking, right? They do a lot of trap blocking and things like that. And Marlon Mack and Nyheim Hines, they understand, and even Jordan Wilkins, they understand. Sometimes you got to sit behind that line and wait for a moment for that block to develop so that hole opens up. Taylor's not used to that. Taylor's used to getting that football, and that hole should either be there or it won't be there. Either way, he's going right where the play's designed. That's something that he's going to have to adjust on. Man, I'll tell you what, that's kind of scary. Taylor is very fast, and as good as a pull blocker Nelson is, do you think Taylor might accidentally outrun Nelson on a pull block? I mean, that'd be scary. I don't know if Taylor has the patience to put his hand on the back of Nelson and kind of guide him into a block and then run past. He might just try to go anyhow. Just saying. One thing I was very happy about was Taylor had, about 15 touches last week. It didn't drop the ball, so that's good. That's good. He was averaging, about one drop every 50 touches maybe, I think, in college. But at least he didn't drop it week 1. And I'm sure that Tom Rathman's been working with him all offseason about keeping that ball high and tight so he don't drop the football. Because he's big time on that. You don't drop the football. It's the reason why Jordan Wilkins don't get as many carries as what he should. Yes, he leads all the NFL in average yards per carry with any running back with at least 50 carries or more a season, averaging 5.8 yards a carry. But he doesn't get near the carries that he should because a couple years ago in his rookie year, he dropped the ball twice. 14 people watching. I've only got 9 likes. Guys, please smash that. Yeah, 5.8 yards a carry. Look it up. That's what he's averaging for his career. Smash that like button. Share this stream on your social media. Appreciate it so much. Let people know I am here talking about the Colts going up against the Vikings, man. And please, if you don't have if you're not subbed, man, sub. I'm sitting at about 540 subs right now. I am wanting 1,000. Difficult to get 1,000 if I don't have very many people in here watching streams. So thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you. I know it sounds stupid, but if we had a mobile quarterback that can extend plays like Luck, move the ball around more on third downs, I don't think so. No. Allen, I'm telling you, Rivers, he don't need to extend play. He was completing 80% of his passes, dude. He was averaging huge chunk yards every play. He looked good. He made one bad mistake that game. The other interception was not on him. Now that the one interception where the safety came to, that was on him. Oh, I hope that there is no Brissett play this game. Brian, I hope not. Why would you bring Brissett in at starting quarterback? Because you know what's going to happen. If you bring Brissett in, defense, you've already tipped your hat what you're doing. There's no reason to play Brissett unless he's need to. T.Y. very well could have a big game because he's playing up against another rookie. I don't think Rivers struggled. I thought Rivers had a great game. I thought Rivers, go look at my film room. I've got it here on YouTube. You actually go look at Rivers. He had one bad mistake that entire game. Other than that, he was super accurate, good arm strength, great decision making. He played really, really well. He had one bad mistake. And it was a dumb mistake. It was blatantly obvious bad mistake. No, he had one interception. He had one. The other interception was not against him. The other interception was a great play by C.J. Henderson, and it was a play that should never happen. It was a play that they never expected to see. He didn't know it was going to happen. I cannot put that interception on Phillip Rivers. That was all a defensive masterpiece. And that one interception that was called back, can't put that on Brissett or on Rivers either. That's all on Frank Reich on the play call because it was 4th and 3, which means they should have played a call. They should have had a play call where he was getting rid of that football quick because you knew there was a massive blitz coming. Massive blitz. 4th and 3, he had to throw an interception. Knew pressure was going to be coming, and yet they called plays where guys were doing medium routes, where it was going to take about 2 or 3 seconds for guys to get open. That's dumb. You should have had little quick out routes by tight ends and running backs to pick up 3 yards, but that's not the plays that was picked. Frank Reich played a bad play and put Rivers in a no-win situation. I didn't get to watch and see exactly where our defense sucked. Everywhere. Tevin Williams. Our defense sucked everywhere on the field last week. I'm just going to let you know that right now. Okay? Everywhere. Yeah, I know. He should have Rivers is good at the run pass option. He is good at it. Yeah. No turnovers, little pressure. Only forced 1 incomplete pass. That tells you right there it was a bad game. He plays option. He played a ton of options plays, not where he's running the football, but what he does is it's either hand the football off or pass the football. He played a lot of plays where he could hand the football off to one running back or another running back or pass the football. Obviously, Rivers is not so athletic that you expect him to take off with the football and run with it. But he is very, very smart when it comes to a read pass option. Not a run pass. It's called a read pass. Yeah, it's only the first game, Tevin. Don't worry about that. You got to remember, like I was saying earlier, they've had no live tackling. They've been practicing for a month. Defenses in general are going to look bad unless they are schemed to do a lot of pressure, like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh schemes they blitzed 95% of the time in their game last week, and they did great. I think the Colts could legitimately blitz at least 30% of the time and be effective as heck. And I'd love to see that from Eberflus. Well, our defensive line really wasn't that terrible. The problem is because we got some pressure. Defensive line legitimately is there to take up blocks, and our linebackers are supposed to make the plays. That's how a 4-3 is set up. So all those extra runs is because the linebackers weren't getting to the play and making the tackle. There was a lot of missed tackles on the second level at the linebacker position. And I can legitimately lay that on the fault that they've had no live tackling since January of last season. And that's what I think of. I think they finally got a little bit of work in last week against the Jags. They should look a lot better this week against the Vikings. Thank you. You're right, Brian. Don't sit there and run. Now, hold on. There was a play. That play where Keelan Cole ran over the middle, did a crossing route, and Xavier Rhodes bit on the play action pass. That was man coverage that was supposed to look like a zone. So, and they had a couple of those where they were trying to disguise, but it was still basic. Okay. We need to see a lot of mixtures right now, especially when it comes to pressure. I want to see a lot of different types of pressure, not just let's see if our front four can get home. Yes, Well, I did hear it. I seen Yasin's name pop up a couple times. I watched a few of them. It can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing with a corner. You want to hear he made a breakup. But if you don't hear he made a tackle and it was the guy that he was covering, that's bad. All right. Now, it could mean if you don't hear his name that he was covering so well that the quarterback never threw in his direction. I didn't actually go in and focus on Rock. Zach Hicks focuses on Rock Ya-Sin a lot. He's got a love affair with him. That's fine. You know, I have my love affairs on certain players on this defense too. So I'll point you in his direction. If go to Twitter, check out some of Zach Hicks stuff. Matter of fact, I think Zach Hicks has a film right now up about Rock Ya-Sin on how he did here on YouTube over Rock Ya-Sin that he just posted, I think, yesterday. So you might go check that out. Not until after we're done here, though, please. I'm a fountain of knowledge that could point you in any direction. And just because I could do that, please don't leave. I'm just more than happy to share information to other guys that cover the Colts because, man, to me, I think we're a family and we need to work together. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so, all right, let's see here. I've been on here for, well over an hour now. Oh my goodness, yes. I would love to see a Kenny Moore. I want to see Kenny come off a nickel blitz at least 2 times this game. At least 2 times. And if I don't see it at least 2 times, then maybe once, and then maybe see a couple linebackers and a safety blitz to come in, you know. Maybe we see 2 linebackers come in on a blitz. I don't care. I want to see some blitz packages this week, damn it. Right? I don't care if Malik Hooker blitzes. I'd rather not see him. I'd rather see Kari Willis blitz and have Malik sitting there single high where he's really, really good. But, I mean, at least that'd mix things up. The offense wouldn't expect to see Malik Hooker blitzing. You know, that's for darn sure. So that would be something different. Yes, Cousins good. He will chew a zone defense up if you just let him sit in that pocket with no pressure. That's why we got to get pressure on him. Green Bay sent pressure. The Colts needs to send pressure. That's just, period. Got to happen. I haven't actually I watched some of the game. I watched, I think, 3/4 of the game yesterday. I don't think Reich does, Brian. I don't think Reich really tells Eberflus what to do. I think he leaves the defense to Eberflus. I really do. I think he's like, that is your baby. Take care of it. Now, if I was Reich, and I know, you know, if I was a head coach that's a former quarterback that played similar to how Cousins played, because Cousins and Reich were very similar, right, in how they played, I would tell Eberflus, dude, you need to get pressure on him. You need to dial up some kind of pressure to get some get him a little uncomfortable back there. But otherwise, he's going to chew our zone up. Yeah, we thought the same thing about the Jags, too. Look what happened there, Alan. I mean, just saying. I didn't think the Jags' offensive line was all that great either. But they ended up doing very good pass protection. I mean, we got some pressure on him here and there on Minshew. Got like 3 or 4 sacks. But he still looked very, very comfortable the majority of the game. And we cannot let Cousins look very, very comfortable the majority of the game and expect to win. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking it was 4. I was thinking Houston had 1, Autry had 2, and someone else had another one. I can't remember who that other person was. I would, Brandon. I've been telling everybody, I think Paris Campbell is going to be the first Colt on this team to break 1,000 yards this year. I really, really, as long as he can stay healthy. That's the big thing. That's the big thing. Was it Corey Willis that had the sack? I don't remember, Brian. If he can stay healthy, Paris Campbell will be the first receiver on this Colts team to get 1,000 yards. He's going to get more targets than everybody else. He's going to get more yardage. He's going to have a ton of yards after catch. I just talked 3 people that are sports reporters and analysis guys that do this professionally like I do. Get paid to do this, right? I talked them into grabbing Paris Campbell after Mack went down because Paris Campbell was still on their they had Marlon Mack. Mack went down. Paris Campbell was still available in their drafts, and I was like, go get him. I'm telling you, go get him. Take a flyer on him. Trust me. Oh, yeah, there's wheels. 4.3 speed? Yeah. And he's 6 foot tall and got good hands. The only thing that held him back last year was health. That's the only thing that held him back last year was health. All right. So 16 people watching. Thank you, everybody. Dear God, a lot of you was very, very good with the chat in here. I love that. That is awesome. Very excited about having so many people in the live chat. Don't forget, okay, just let you guys on YouTube know, go check out Sportscaster. Sportscaster, SPORTSCASTR/Lawrence Owen. All right, that's where I work. That's where I make my daily bread and butter, my money. Go check me out. Give me a follow. Make a profile there. Follow me there. That'll help out a lot. I'd appreciate that. Any idea why we don't see Naheem on punt return duty? We did see Naheem on punt return duty. He just didn't accept any. He let him go past him. Now, he wasn't on kick return duty, but he was on punt return duty. Well, he can't be offensive rookie of the year because he's a sophomore this year. This is Paris Campbell's second year. Taylor definitely 1,000 yards. Possibly. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Offensive rookie for Taylor. Possibly. But there's a lot of guys out there that could get offensive rookie of the year. Right now, Joe Burrow looks like a big-time bust to me, but then again, still early in the season, so we'll see. I want to see Taylor start to get a little more comfortable with our offensive line and start stringing together good runs and good games the way Marlon Mack did last year, where we were seeing him game in, game out, having really good games. I want to see Taylor do that before I could start really jumping on that train. I hope for it, but I'm not going to go all kind of excited. You might see a lot more Jordan Wilkins and Naheem Hines than what you're planning on seeing. I don't think that Taylor's going to be getting like 90% of the carries or no kind of crap like that. I think Taylor might see 50% of the carries. Naheem will probably see 30, and then Wilkins will probably see 20. That's how I'm seeing it'll work out, though. Oh, man, everybody's upset about Mack. Mack looked so good before that Achilles tear. Oh, man, that sucks so bad. Yeah, Of course, Edwards-Helaire looked good. I'm waiting. Because, I mean, Mack looked really good against the Texans. A lot of running backs look good against the Texans. Let's see how good he looks against the Titans. Right? That's what I'm wanting to see. I want to see Edwards-Helaire go up against a team that's got a really good run defense. Yeah, I mean, Wilkins pretty much in the same position he was last year now with Mack out. He's back to being the third running back rather than the fourth running back. We'll see how he steps up though. Yeah, again, game one, no defenses had live tackling all the way back to January, right? So we're not going to see teams' real defenses until probably week 3, to be honest. I don't expect to see the Colts' real defense tomorrow. I'm hoping to see improvement, but I don't think that we're going to see the full capability of the Indianapolis Colts defense until probably about week 3. Because they put their product on the field week 1, see what they needed to improve. Then in week 2, they make adjustments, but aren't going to be able to fix everything. And then week 3 should be where they're comfortable with each other and in themselves and what they're doing and be more fundamental. Yeah, we do have that bad game 1 curse. I mean, what, 2018, we went 1-5, right? And then ended up going to the playoffs. So, I mean, anything can happen. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Guys, thanks everyone for joining. My throat is really sore from talking because I speak up when I talk. But thanks everyone for joining. Again, go check out Sportscaster. Link to that is actually in my in the description to the show down here. If you're not following me on Twitter, please go follow me on Twitter as well. And I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about tomorrow. I think Bring the Juice has a stream going right now, possibly. I think they started one at 5 o'clock, so you might go check that out. Brandon, what up? You got to be careful. Phillip Rivers attempts to throw some dumb-headed I don't think he'll throw dumb-headed interceptions this year or this game. I don't think he will. I think he had one dumb interception last week. He won't have any more this week. The other interception wasn't his fault. But I think they'll do fine. Thanks for joining, Brandon. Appreciate you. Go Colts, everybody. Before I log out of this, I'm going to give you a few moments. Please, in the chat, put your predictions for tomorrow's game. Colts, Vikings, what do you have? I've got 35-27. Indianapolis Colts. What do you guys got? We got 30-23 Colts by Nick. Don't forget, smash that like button. Please smash that like button. Come on, I got one guy on here that said what his what he's got. I got 35-27. Nick's got 30-23. Anybody else got something? I'm going to stay here for just a moment. That way I can get everybody's predictions. I know there's plenty of people in chat. Brandon's got 30-27. You don't know. Oh, that's close. You got Colts, Vikes, really too close to call. 30-30. No, I don't want to see a tie. Steven's got 31-27. All right. Colts, hopefully, anyhow. You're hoping that Minnesota's defense is truly suspect. Gotcha. I am too. I'm hoping that as well because Aaron Rodgers made them look silly last week. All right, guys. I'm going to jump off here. Don't forget, hit that like button, hit the share it to your social media. And if you don't have a sub, please sub, man. I don't even think I gained did I gain a sub I think I gained one sub during this stream. If you're not sub, man, sub, please. I'm a Colts fan, but you got Vikings since you picked them last. Okay, I got you. You kind of got that score flipped on purpose. I know where your head is. I feel you because that's how I feel sometimes too. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. Go Colts.